Hi, my name is Franny, and I decided to do a video response for my Unit 2 reflection because my Unit 2 portfolio is kind of more dense and written, so I thought this would be a better way to make it more personal. For Unit 2 portfolio, I decided to write about and discuss the issue of technology and its impacts on childhood brain development and cognitive effects. I decided to focus my audience on adolescents, in particular college age students and those around my age, because I was interested in the impact that technology does have on brain development, and especially because technology has become so prominent in every day of one of our lives. In our lives every day, we spend hours on our computers doing schoolwork, on our phones, connecting with people, watching TV, and it adds up. And it's really interesting because it does have such a prominent effect on our development, and people are so unaware of it. I wanted to place an urgency on this because it is a topic or a situation that has never been come to history before. No other generation has grown up with so much technology, and that we are so unaware of the cognitive and social impacts that is going to have. So I wanted to explore that. I chose to continue the same topic from Unit 1, but I decided to change my approach to the conversation a little bit. Originally, in Unit 1, I was much more just the science-based, like what physically is happening and changing in your brain when you watch or spend a bunch of time looking at screens. I decided more to emphasize again the urgency of how it impacts people like of my age and of my generation who grew up spending hours and hours looking at TV, watching screens, everything that had never come before. Tech is so invested in our lives and intertwined in our students that intertwined in our lives that students aren't going to simply be able to give it up, but rather, and that's not what I'm like wanting to propose here, but rather just if you're educated about the impacts and how it's affecting you, then you're going to be able to make more appropriate decisions, maybe limit that less of time. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm just told, oh, stop staring at your phone, like it's not good for you, that's not really enough to motivate me to make a change and like spend a little less time looking at it. Whereas if I can know like the cognitive, okay, this is going to change how my brain is wired, which is going to change how I'm going to act and interact and think about situations, then I'm going to be more likely to like make a conscious effort to make it better. I used a wide variety of sources, everything from pretty intense scholarly journals that outlined case studies and experiments done to test it, to TED Talks of professionals talking about it, to interviews. I liked to kind of get a wide variety of information because just the science stuff would be way too dense and not engaging at all, but just the videos and interviews that kind of provide the more real world applicable situations that are more interesting are crucial, and then those I kind of put those two together to form an argument that can hopefully be a little more engaging to those who aren't interested in science. I liked the TED Talks especially because it provided opinions, science-based, because it was from professionals that I do believe are reliable, but also of situations and examples more than. I think I did a good amount of research that was pretty well-rounded, rounded, but I kind of wish I could have gone deeper into like the social impacts that these like physical changes have on your brain, because I think as college students we are very social beings in a very social environment, and so understanding how like, oh, you're using your screen for so long a day that it's rewiring how you're going to be being able to engage with other people like in real life, I think would draw my attention and other people's attention in more. I did use a few primary sources. Again, those scholarly journals were really helpful when they were using experiments on 2,000 kids and how they would affect them, and using actual screen time, which is nice giving that kind of evidence. When it came to the pitch, I was honestly pretty confused at the beginning of this unit because I was not really sure what I was going to do or like what was expected, but I decided, okay, if I'm going to try to engage college students into this and like why they should care, then I started with like how many hours a day do you spend on TV? Or spend looking at screens. I asked this question on Instagram on my story as a poll, just to get people to think about if you spend out of the time you're texting, out of the time you're staring at your computer, working, watching TV, then it adds up to a lot of hours a day, and how that you could have been doing other things in that hours and just like the social development. So I used then that and transformed that into kind of the hook into my essay, with just, okay, do you add up at all and see where you're at? And then like, okay, this is clearly an issue, and if you can notice it for yourself, like, wow, that's a lot of the time of day I spend on my computer, on my phone again, and then see that, then be more interested, and then, okay, then let me learn about these effects. So I think that was okay. I wasn't really sure at the beginning, but it's gone. I liked how it came out. I think my whole argument and topic applies to like another class or call life beyond college in general, like I've said, because it is relevant in all aspects of our life using technology, that it is going to be affecting it like literally all day, no matter where you are or who you're with. Technology to enhance this project was a little harder. I kind of struggled with this because I was using a lot more of the sciencey based learning and writings. But I used a couple of videos because the short interview was really helpful in explaining kind of the basic concepts in like a more simple way for the people who aren't super sciencey and don't care as much about the deeper facts, as well as the TED Talks. I did include 2 visual charts, one at the beginning, which kind of ties back to my pitch, that was a breakdown of the amount of hours spent on different kinds of devices a day in the US, of average in the U.S. of 18 plus people. So again, kind of in the adolescent range or college age range. And that came out to over 11 hours a day, which is honestly just insane because that's almost half the day that you're spent. But I also totally believe it, so that's why it's so prevalent that we need to be aware that we are spending so much time, be aware and educated on these impacts to then be able to make better decisions in the future. Excuse me. Overall, I think I did a pretty good job relying clear information with the background, the science, and then why it's important. And why I explained why it kind of matters for all generations. I touch in that end of it. You see that why it's parents and children and adolescents all have roles in it. Because we're so unaware of the impacts in the future, since no one else in generations before have grown up with so much, that it is a prevalent issue or prevalent topic that people should at least be educated on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening.